Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I said that there were two big mistakes that I made when starting Notion, and we talked about one of them. It is time to talk about the other big mistake that I made when I was setting up my Notion. I talked a little bit about how I read the book Building a Second Brain. I wanted to try the para method, the projects, areas, resources, and archive. And I went through some YouTube tutorials that were talking about do this first. This is the most important step of Notion. And one of the things that it had said was to create a task database that applied to every project so that you had everything in one place. And like that made sense to me, but when I started my journey with Notion, I had one major project. That major project was reviewing dissertations. Let's just call that what it is. I'm going to make this a tag so that I don't have to type it over and over again. Oops. Multi-select. There we go. So what I ended up doing when I was like, okay, keep everything in one place, was I thought that also applied to all the information that I needed. So what I was doing when I had to review a dissertation was I needed, and I'm just going to uh, open this page to show you. I needed to know. And what I ended up doing was I took my tasks property and my big database because I was told keep everything in one place. And if you are neurodiverse like me, you neurodivergent like me, you can, this is kind of what take things literally looks like. I'm really good with metaphor. I can think abstractly. That's not a problem. But keep everything in one place, I interpreted to mean keep everything in one place. So I went through and I added a select and I called it university. And then I was like, University A, then University B. Then I was like, template use. And I made this a select. And like, this was all going really well. Like, it was doing what I needed it to do, right? Like, excellent, fine, okay. Then I made a status. And for the status, what I did was I added an in progress for returned to student for changes, and so on. And it worked. I was able to do this because when I started Notion, I was really only working on one project. So when I looked at my tasks, I would have like, John Doe right there, and I would have Emily Brown. And I would go through and be like, this person did excellent work on the template. This one needs work, so I'm going to return it to the student for changes. Whatever, like that was how I used it. But then the problem was I finished the project. And I stopped working for the university. So I'm never going to do this work again. And instead, it was like I had to read for client A. And the project was now something entirely different. It was novel editing, which is the other, like one of the things that I do. But then the status still included return to student for changes and template use and all of these things that were specific to a project. And that was a big mistake. Now, what I should have done instead is what I'm going to show you now. We're going to go ahead and go back in here. We're going to delete this option, edit property, delete. So we're going to keep those. We'll keep the projects. We're going to delete this property altogether. We're going to delete this property altogether because that was not what I needed. This was all I needed to do for tasks. And then what I should have done was go through and made a different database. I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick and we'll come back. I made a new database with projects, and what I should have done was opened the project review dissertations, started here and created an inline database, which would then have the student name and all of those things we just made. And then I would include a relation. And this relation would be to tasks. Then I could choose to come through and why isn't that showing? Oop, because I didn't save it. Relation to task. tasks, add relation, show on tasks, why not? And then I could go through and link John Doe's page to John Doe here. Then I have the task and whether it's done, but I could go through and create the university here as a select. And we would say University A. And then I would go through and add all of these into a separate database. Yes, you do want your tasks to be in one place. It's really helpful. But it is not helpful like your task database should be so simple. Like the most basic things. A date, what project it's associated with. We would change this to a relation to projects. Then I can show reviewing dissertations here, novel editing here, reviewing dissertations here, etc. Like we can create that, and then maybe you want to do like a checkbox. But sometimes the status and the checkbox are a little bit redundant, but like, yeah, a task should not have all of the things related to that task in the database, or it's going to update for every possible project that you have now. So hopefully you found this video and the one before it helpful when it comes to not overcomplicating things or making sure that you do them in the right place in Notion. I know that it was super overwhelming for me when I started, and while I appreciate the help that I got with like keep all your tasks in one place, I at least personally could have used a little bit more specificity when it came to like what things should go in that place and how to use separate databases that are then related to the tasks to combine things in a way that would just not complicate further projects when you have things down the road that you're going to need to use the tasks for. Keep your tasks simple and link them to more complicated things. That is your tip of the day. Thank you.